Today I'm going to be playing a game so you guys can see how my brain works, what I'm calculating, what I'm thinking of, and all of that nonsense. I'm 2100 on Rapid in chess.com, so let's try to find a game and see how that goes. Alright, so now we're playing a 1941. I went pawn to d4 and he goes pawn to d5. Let's go pawn to c4. That is the queen's gambit. Let's see if he accepted. Nope, he doesn't. He goes pawn to c6. So let's just go knight to c3, putting a little bit of pressure on the pawn on d5. Knight to f6. Now we develop the knight on f3. And let's see what he does next. Pawn to g6, interesting. Let's go pawn to e3. I know I'm chopping this bishop, but the idea is to go pawn to b3 and bishop b2 at some point. Let's develop this bishop so I can castle on the next move. He'll probably castle now. That's right, and I castle as well. If he takes on c4, I'll just take back with the bishop. And now I go pawn to b3 to develop this bishop via b2. Let's see, what is his plan? He goes knight to h5. Wow, I have no idea what that does. But what does that do? Am I missing? All right, let's go bishop b2. Let's finish our development, and let's not pay attention to that crap. And bishop to g4, interesting. All right, I will just simply go rook to c1, and maybe queen to d2 next to connect the rooks. If he takes on f3, I'll take with the bishop, of course. I don't think he will do that, but just in case. Knight goes back to f6. That was wild. He moved the knight forward, and then he went backwards. That's interesting, so let's go pawn to h3 now. Asking this bishop, what do you want? You want to go back, trapping the bishop? No, bishop to e6. Let's go knight to g5 now, annoying that bishop even more. Where do you want to go now? He has moved that bishop so many times, dude. Jesus. I mean, pawn to g4 would be just too much bullying, so let's what do we want? Let's go pawn to g4, I don't care. See where that bishop goes next. It goes back. That's just funny. Now maybe I want to prepare some pawn to e4 push, but maybe not. Maybe I want to go pawn to f5 instead. He will most likely go pawn to h6 next, kicking this knight out. Yeah, let's see what he does now. He hasn't developed anything around here. Pawn to h6. All right, let's go knight to f3, and then let's wait for his reaction. Maybe knight d7, I'm expecting. There we go. Knight d7. Knight to e5 is interesting. If you take that, I'll take back with the f pawn, opening this file for the rook. Let's go knight to e5. I like that. And then maybe queen to c2 or queen d3, putting an eye on this pawn right here. Knight to f8. Wow. He's really like restricting his pieces. I could go pawn to f5 now, but I really want to open the f file. Yeah, I really want to do that. Let's go pawn to f5. If he takes, I'll take back with the pawn. Pawn to g5. All right, he doesn't want to open that file. But that gives me pawn to h4 though. Sacrificing the pawn, I know, but I could go queen to e1 to grab it. Things are looking really good for me. Pawn takes h4, queen to e1, knight to e4. Look at that. He wants to take this knight maybe. Maybe it's too annoying for him. I could do so many things now. First, I could just take that knight. Pawn takes that, and then queen to c2, putting pressure on this pawn. And how do you even defend that? I don't think you can. Can you? Or I can simply go knight takes e4, pawn takes e4, and pawn takes g5. Many things look good for me here. I mean, we have to take that knight. It just looks way too good. Pawn takes e4, all right, and maybe queen to c2 now. And how do you defend this pawn right here? Maybe you don't. Maybe you take this knight first, and then when I take back, you still cannot defend this pawn. Yeah, queen to c2 should be winning. I mean, if you take that pawn, I don't really care. Pawn to f6, attacking my knight. Don't freak out. I know I can't go backwards because of the pawn on e4, but I can go forward. I kind of want to sacrifice that knight. Queen takes e4. It just looks way too good, dude. I take back with the pawn, and I have this massive pawn storm in the middle. It looks completely winning to me. Yeah, he takes back, and then I take with the pawn. And how do you stop all this? He goes queen to c7, I guess putting pressure on this pawn with the queen and with the bishop, but the pawn is defended by the queen and by the bishop, so I don't think that's good. I want to go like pawn to c5 and then bishop to c4, forcing him to go e6, and then I can go pawn to f6. How slow of an idea is that? I don't think you can even stop that, because if I go pawn to c5 and you go b5, I can just take on pawn. Oh, you take back with the queen, but then bishop to d4, and then you can't stop bishop c4. Let's go pawn to c5 first. Let's see what he tries to do now. Bishop to e6, interesting. So let's go bishop to c4 check. If you go e6, that would be beautiful, because that gives me pawn to f6. He moves the king, all right. Now, of course, we open the h file by taking this pawn, and then he takes back, and king to g2 would be just devastating. We even have e6, but that would give him queen to g3. So that's why first I want to go king to g2 to prepare both. Rook to h1, and to protect this square on g3. He might not even take back, but if you don't, then I'll take this guy, and when you take back, there's pawn to e5, with this check and attacking the bishop at the same time, and that would be just game over. All right, he takes back with the pawn. Let's go king to g2, of course, preparing this. Knight to h7, all right. Let's go rook to h1, so that knight never moves. Now I'm threatening pawn to f6, just destroying. Pawn to e6, god damn, let's go pawn to f6. And how do you stop that? I don't think you can. This is just game over, and he should probably resign right at this mo. He's not resigning. There we go, he resigns, and he wants to play again. All right, so let's check the game review. Let's see how that went. Damn, I played like a 2200 and he played like a 1900. That's your rating, buddy. All right, let's see what happened on this game. Everything is theory, everything is a book move. At this point, knight to h5 doesn't make any sense. I don't know what this does. Maybe it was a mouse lead, but where were you even trying to move the knight? Everything's good. Bishop to e6 gives me knight to g5, which is also an inaccuracy apparently. What's the best move here actually? Pawn, knight to g5, make up your mind, goddammit. Queen takes e4, sacrificing the knight, that is a good move. I know I'm sacrificing a piece, but I'm getting a lot of activity. Look at all these pawns coming at your king. I mean, this is just unstoppable. This is a nightmare, a complete headache. How do you stop all those pawns? Pawn to c5, bishop to c4, check, that's great. Pawn takes g5, pawn takes, and king to g2. Is that the best move? Wow, that is the second best move from the engine. That's crazy. King to g2, rook to h1, and then pawn to f6. This was played almost perfectly. All right, so there you go. That is how a 2100 rated player thinks during a rapid game on chess.com. I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notifications, and I will see you on the next game.